On yesterday's homework, I told y'all just to wait on I. We are going to talk about that right now. So if you haven't already, you need to go ahead and write I down. Okay, so what this says is that something divided by 5 equals 2. So let's think about that. What divides by 5 and the output is 2? 10, right? It's 10. If I take 10 and I divide by 5, I get 2. So what we actually are doing is we're getting rid of this denominator because this is divided by 5. The opposite of divided by would be multiply. So I'm going to multiply this whole thing times 5. And what I do to one side, I have to do to the other. If I have 5 and I divide by 5, I get 1. So these actually cancel out. And I'm left with x minus 4 equals 2 times 5 is 10. So that's how that comes about. Something divided by 5 gives us 2. Well, it's 10. 10 divided by 5 gives us 2. So now it's a simple problem. We're going to add 4 to both sides. And we get x equals 14. So getting rid of fractions by multiplying is the best way. So let's check this. So whenever you check it, I was checking over some of y'all's work. Y'all were still putting x whenever you check it. You have to put in the number when you check it. So we would do 14 minus 4 over 5 equals 2. So we could put that in our calculator to check if that is it. So remember, alpha y equals, to get our fraction, 14 minus 4 divided by 5. And then second math for the equal sign. And that is true. So what you will be doing along with solving the equations is on the back, this had a solution, right? This was I. So you are identifying the type of solution and you're putting one of these letters on there. So it was one solution, it was I. And I'm also going to write what x equals. X equals 14. So go ahead and do that. So on any one that you get a solution, you're going to write the letter and also put what it equals beside it. If you get no solution, just put the letter. There's nothing more that you need to write there. And same thing on infinite solutions. Nothing more you need to write there. Okay, were there any questions that y'all wanted me to go over from these problems? I know one of them that people keep on messing up is this. I'm just going to show you how you would simplify it. What is 3 times 2x?
6x.
6x. So the right side is just 6x. That's it. Then the left side, you combine these like terms. 8 minus 2 is 6x minus 1. So now I need a little bit more room. I should have wrote this on a piece of paper. Okay, and then you would subtract 6x on both sides. They cancel, and you get negative 1 equals, if there's nothing left, what would we put as a number? 0. Because if I take 6x away, I get 0. So what do you notice about -1 equals 0?
It doesn't equal.
All right, it doesn't equal, it's false. So what is our solution? No solution. It's no solution.
Hold up.
Let's look at today's lesson, equations with fractions. So let's look at this. This looks really ugly, right? 5, 6, d equals 1/3 d plus 2. I don't really like that. And one thing is, the reason I don't like it is because if I'm dealing with a third or a sixth, I'm going to have a repeating decimal. And I don't like that. So I wouldn't change the fraction to a decimal. Instead, I'm going to clear the fraction in one step. So here is these steps. It says find the least common denominator, multiply every term in the equation by the least common denominator, including terms that do not have fractions. All fractions should now be gone. Solve as usual. So we need the least common denominator. It would be 6 because the least common denominator is also called your least common multiple. So you want a multiple of 6 and 3 that they have in common. So in this, it is 6. So we're going to multiply everything times 6. So I'm going to multiply this times 6, this times 6, and this times 6. So if you're not sure what that is, we can look in the calculator. So do alpha y equals, we're going to do the fraction, 5/6, and then get out from that fraction, put times 6. Yeah, equals 5. Because actually the 6's cancel. So you don't have to use the calculator. So this would be 5d equals, then we have 1/3 times 6. So 1/3 times 6,
2.
which is 2. So this will be 2d plus 2 times 6 is 12. Now, I would so much rather use that equation to solve than the one with the fractions. So now we can solve it like usual. We want to get all the d's on one side. So I need to, since there's only the d here, this has the d plus a number. I'm going to move the 2d to the other side. So minus 2d on both sides. 5d minus 2d is 3d. The 2d's cancel. Carry down the 12. And then our last step would be divide by 3. 12 divided by 3 is 4. We do still need to check it. So 5/6, go back to the original equation, times 4 equals 1/3 times 4 plus 2. Write it down and then we will put it in our calculator. Okay, check and see if you're putting it in the same way that I am. So we did it correctly. All right, let's look at the next one. Ooh, that is ugly, right? So we are looking at 2, 3, and 4. So you're looking at multiples of 2, 3, and 4, and you want the least common one. So the smallest one that they have in common. 12. So it has to be bigger, either the same or bigger. So 4 if it was just 2 and 4. 6 if it was just 2 and 3. But all of them is 12. And if you're not sure how to do this, what you can do is you can list out your multiples. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12. So these are multiples. Then 3 would be 3, 6, 9, 12. Then 4, 4, 8, 12. So they all have 12 in common, and that is the smallest one that they have in common. So if you need to write out your multiples, you can. So we are going to multiply everything times 12. So half times 12, third times 12, a fourth times 12, 1 times 12. Yeah, it is. So 12 times 1 over 2. Yeah, it's basically saying half of 12. That is 6. And don't forget your x. Then 1/3 times 12. 4. If you're not sure, use your calculator.
Would it be negative 4?
Yes.
Yeah.
So we put minus 4x equals 1/4 times 12. 3. 3x. And then -1 times 12.
12.
Negative 12. Now that looks like a much simpler problem.
Oh, yeah, she does.
Okay, so we do need to simplify before we start moving things across the equal sign. So we have 6x minus 4x. 2x. We need to get all the x's on one side. See how this only has x's on that side? This one has the x and the number. Let's move the number. Even though this is a smaller one, I'm going to move the number over here so that I only have to move that and not move that and 12. So minus 3x on both sides. 2x minus 3x.
Negative 1.
Yeah, negative 1x equals negative 12. And then divide by -1 all the way through.
12.
Yeah, x equals 12. We do need to check it. Oh, why am I doing that? 1 over 2 times 12 minus 1 over 3 times 12 equals 1 over 4 times 12 minus 1. I was looking at the wrong problem for a minute. So 1 over 2 times 12 minus 1 over 3 times 12 equals 1/4 times 12 minus 1. Make sure you're putting in minus in there, not negative. And that worked out. All right, let's do the equations with decimals now. The decimals you don't have to get rid of, but sometimes it just makes it simpler. So there was a couple of problems that we've done before that had decimals, and y'all just did them no problem. But what we can do is find the term with the most decimal places, determine which power of 10 it could be multiplied with to make it a whole number, and then multiply every term in the equation by the power of 10, including terms that do not have decimals, and solve as usual. So what we can look at is how many places we need to move to make it a whole number. So instead of multiplying by 10, I'm going to move the decimal to make it a whole number. And you have to move each one by the same number of decimal places. So on this one, each one is just 1, right? So that means I'm going to multiply it one place, or move it one place to the right. Move one place to the right. So on this would be moved over one place, making it 12y. This one, move it over one place, so that'd be minus 4 equals. Move this over one place, 1y. Move this over one place, plus 18. So just getting rid of that decimal actually makes it look like a simpler problem. So now we solve like usual. So we would need to get all the y's on one side. So what are we going to move?
Minus 1.
Yeah, minus 1y, minus 1y. 12 minus 1, 11y. Carry down the minus 4. Equals 18. And then add 4 to both sides. Get 11y equals 18 plus 4, 22. Divide by 11. Y equals 2. We do need to check it into the original equation. So 1.2 times 2 minus 0.4 equals 0.1 times 2 plus 1.8. Oh, I forgot to put in the parentheses there. And it worked out. Okay, let's look at the next example. This one is one place, this is 2, this is 2, this is 1. So we need to move it 2 decimal places. Because you find the largest movement, and that's what you need to move them all. So I'm going to move this over 1, 2, making that 120x. Plus 1, 2, 175 equals 1, 2, 145x, 1, 2. So anytime there's nothing there, we put a 0. Minus 50. Sometimes people feel like that makes it actually harder because you're dealing with bigger numbers. If you'd rather deal with decimals, you can. I'm just showing you a way that makes it simpler for me. So then we move our decimal, or we move our x value. So we're going to move the smaller one. Subtract the 120x. So 120x cancels. We're left with 175 equals 145 minus 120. 25x minus 50. Next, we move the minus 50 to the other side by adding 50. So 175 plus 50.
225.
And then our last step is to divide by 25. 225 divided by 25.
9.
So 9 equals x. Then we need to check it. Plug it in the calculator. Okay, so that one worked out. Okay, we do have some examples on this next page. So let's look at number 7. It says 1.5x plus 3 equals 8 plus x. So I need to actually change this to an improper fraction. Do y'all remember how to change?
2 times 1 plus 1.
Yeah, 2 times 1 and then plus the numerator. So that'd be 3 over 2x plus 3 equals 8 plus x. So it's where you multiply the numerator and the whole number and then add, or multiply the denominator and the whole number and then add the numerator. So what would I need to multiply by? What's my least common denominator? 2. So I need to multiply everything times 2. Three over 2 times 2.
3.
So 3x plus 2 times 3, 8 times 2,
16.
x times 2.
2x.
Awesome. Much easier problem to solve. So y'all go ahead and solve that. And we also need to check when we put in the 1.5, we would actually use the second one. See how it says U and then ND? So go to 2, and that's where we would put in the 1 and then 1/2 times 10 plus 3, 8 plus 10. The next problem, 7 over 4, and then parentheses 4 plus x equals negative 2/3 plus x. Okay, so what is our least common denominator going to be?
12.
12, because we're looking at 4 and 3. So the number that they will both multiply to make is 12. So I'm going to multiply this times 12. And I only need to multiply it times this because it's outside the parentheses. And remember, whenever you distribute, you already are multiplying it times everything. So you don't have to multiply what's inside the parentheses times 12. Only this number outside. Because when we distribute, that 12 will be multiplied too. And then multiply this times 12 and this times 12. So 7 over 4 times 12. Okay, so yeah, 21. And then we just carry this down. 4 plus x equals negative 2 over 3 times 12. Negative 8. And then x times 12, so plus 12x. So now we'll solve it like normal. So we do need to distribute. So 21 times 4.
84.
Okay. 21 times x.
21x.
And then the other side we can't do anything with. And now we need to move the smaller x. So which one's smaller?
12x.
12x. So we're going to subtract 12x on both sides. $84. 21 minus 12.
9.
So plus 9x equals negative 8. And then what do we do?
Minus 84.
Negative 8 minus 84.
Negative 92.
Negative 92. And then we divide by 9.
Making that even.
So it's not even. That's okay. So we have a answer that is a fraction.
Negative 10 over 80. That's your
Yeah. So we'll leave it as a fraction. So negative 92 over 9. We do need to check it. I don't have enough room down here, so I'm going to put it up here. 7 over 4 parentheses 4 plus negative 92 over 9 equals negative 2/3 times negative 92 over 9. No, not times. Sorry, plus 92 over 9. It's just negative 2/3. All right, so put in our fraction, 7 over 4. 4 plus, if I do that, negative 92 over 9. You need to be practicing putting this in, because there are times that you will get fraction answers like this one.
How did you make it parentheses?
Say what?
How did you make it the parentheses?
So the parentheses becomes big whenever you put in a fraction like that. So do the 7 over 4 and then arrow over to get out from that fraction and then put a parentheses and it'll make it big. And it's here also because I did a fraction on the inside. Were you able to make it work in your calculator? Okay, let's skip 9 and 10 and let's just go down to these bottom two. All right, so this is like I that we did earlier from our other problem, from our worksheet. So we would look and see what would we need to multiply to get rid of that denominator. See how this is divided by 3? Multiply times 3 on the left side and on the right side. And then we'll subtract 3 on both sides. Divide by 2. Yep, x equals 18. We do need to check it. So parentheses 2 times 18 plus 3, close parentheses, over 3 equals 13. Since it's just getting equals 18, I'm just going to put the left side in, and that equals 13. So I didn't put equals 13, I just let it solve it, and it came out to 13. All right, let's look at that next one. What do we need to multiply both sides by? 10. So don't forget to put this around parentheses because you're multiplying 8 times 10. You could really also just multiply x times 10 and negative 4 times 10. I did it like this though, which means I need to distribute the 10. So on the left side, it's just 8x minus 2 equals. Then on the right side, everything is actually being multiplied times 10. So I should have done it like that.
10x minus 40.
Yep.
Minus 4.
Mm-hmm. Okay, and then I need to move the smaller x. So which one am I going to move? Ten minus 8 is 2x. And then carry down the minus 40. Add 40 to both sides. Negative 2 plus 40.
38.
38. They're different signs, so we subtract them, keep the sign the larger. So it is 38 equals 2x. And then we divide by 2. So x equals 19. Then we need to check it. I'm going to turn my paper sideways and check it this way. So it's going to be 8 times 19 minus 2, close parentheses, over 10 equals 19 minus 4. Okay, did that work? I need you to check it. Put it in your calculator so you can practice checking it.
It worked.
Good. Okay, we are going to put this in our journal. Make sure you write your name on the top. Put this in the next page in your journal.